Have you ever met someone who retired with a lot of money but didn't actually seem happy? I have, and I've seen a lot of people who have far less money who genuinely love their lives. So what separates the two? Most people are unknowingly playing on different scoreboards in life, and the happiest retirees, they're usually not the people who maximize only one scoreboard. They're the ones who learn to balance both. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Martin Cloutier from Prestige Private Wealth Management. Today's video is going to be a little different, less technical, less tax focused, less investment focused, and more about the philosophy behind retirement planning. Because after years of meeting with the retirees and pre-retirees, I've noticed something that keeps coming up over and over again. Some people become focused on building wealth, so focused in fact that they forget to actually enjoy their life along the way. And other people focus so much on enjoying today that they never prepare for tomorrow. And honestly, both extremes can be problematic later on. So today I want to talk about what I call the two scoreboards of life. I almost picture it as a continuum. On one side, we see the financial scoreboard, and on the other side is the happiness scoreboard. And some people naturally drift too far towards one side or to the other. Now, the financial scoreboard is pretty straightforward. That side focuses on saving money, investing, paying down debt, building up your net worth, and preparing for retirement. The happiness scoreboard focuses more on experiences, relationships, family, hobbies, travel, friendship, and living for today. Both scoreboards are important and neither scoreboard is wrong. The problem happens when one dominates over the other. I've met people who spent their entire lives maximizing the financial scoreboard. They've worked constantly, saved aggressively, delayed gratification forever, and rarely traveled. They spent money on hardly ever on themselves. They rarely slowed down to smell the flowers along the way. And then retirement finally arrives. And surprisingly, it feels anticlimactic and empty. I've literally had clients say to me, we worked hard to save diligently, and for what? And that's a sad statement, because eventually, if money never gets used to build a life, it just becomes a score. Hearing that from clients over the years changed the way I think about retirement planning, because eventually there has to be a reason for the money, a purpose for it all. Otherwise, what exactly are we optimizing things for? Because when you actually look at the research, long-term happiness, the findings are very consistent. Long-term or long-lasting happiness usually doesn't come from luxury, status, constant pleasure, or endless accumulation of money. In fact, humans adapt rather quickly to those things. What research consistently points towards are things like strong relationships, good physical and mental health, meaningful work contributions, low chronic stress, flexibility over your schedule, and living in a way that actually aligns with your values. And interestingly, financial security matters, but endless wealth doesn't seem to increase happiness nearly as much as people think it will. Because there is a difference between financial security and financial obsession. Now, on the opposite side of the continuum are people who focus almost entirely on present happiness. Every dollar gets spent. There's no planning. Retirement becomes tomorrow's problem. And during the younger years, hey, it feels fine. But eventually, reality catches up. We get older. Retirement gets closer, and then the stress kicks in. Suddenly, they realize that they may need to work till age 75 just to make ends meet. And in many ways, the extra happiness that they enjoyed earlier becomes offset by the anxiety they experience later. So again, neither side is entirely wrong, but the goal is balance. Because every financial decision is really a trade-off between current enjoyment and future freedom. And honestly, I think one of the most important ideas in retirement planning is that every decision matters. Bigger house, earlier retirement, new vehicle, or more travel later on. Spend today or buy yourself some freedom tomorrow. Whether we realize it or not, we're making those trade-offs all the time. Every dollar you spend is really a vote for the kind of life that you want to live. This is why I often say a financial plan is really a happiness plan in disguise. Because what people want is not just money. What they really want is what money can do for them. The freedom, the experiences, the security, the time, the options. And interestingly, those are the exact same themes happiness research consistently points towards: autonomy, meaningful relationships, purpose, contributions, and control over your time. Not constant consumption, not endlessly upgrading your lifestyle, and definitely not trying to impress people you probably don't even like much in the first place. Now, usually balancing these scoreboards starts early in life with a budget, not because budgeting is exciting. Nobody wakes up thrilled to do spreadsheets except for me, but because there's so much money, only so much money to go around. Budgeting is really just deciding where on that continuum you want to live. A budget isn't about sacrifice, it's about prioritization. And one of the best examples of balancing both scoreboards is buying a house. Financially, you're building equity over time, but emotionally, you're also building a place for memories, a place to raise a family, a place to feel grounded. Then later on, maybe part of your financial scoreboard becomes RSP contributions, TFSA contributions, investing consistently, or simply paying yourself first. And no, it doesn't need to be huge amounts of money at the beginning. The habit matters more than perfection, because small, consistent decisions compound over decades can become life-altering. One of the best habits I've seen over the years is this: when you get a raise, try to keep your lifestyle relatively close to where it was before the raise. Not exactly the same. I mean, enjoy some of it, but if every dollar immediately becomes lifestyle inflation, it becomes very hard to build long-term financial freedom. Instead, redirect part of that increase towards your future self. Invest it, save it, pay yourself first, because small financial habits can translate into massive financial outcomes over time, allowing you to add to your happiness scoreboard later. Eventually, the idea of retirement stops becoming just a vague idea in the distance, and it becomes something you can actually picture, because now you're not saving for a someday, you're saving for something specific. The clearer the vision, the easier it becomes to sacrifice for it. Maybe your retirement dream is travel, golf, gardening, cycling, camping, winters in Mexico, or simply spending time with your family. But interestingly, many retirees who seem happiest are not necessarily living extravagant lifestyles. A lot of the time, what they really have is flexibility over how they spend their time. Flexibility to be with the people they care about. Flexibility without constant financial stress. Because in my experience, long-term happiness usually comes less from possessions and more from lasting memories that you create. A new purchase feels exciting temporarily, and psychologically, there's actually a reason for that. Human beings adapt incredibly quickly to possessions. A new vehicle just becomes the vehicle. A bigger house just becomes the house. Humans adapt surprisingly quickly to possessions, but much more slowly to meaningful relationships. Emotionally meaningful experiences and relationships and traditions and memories tend to create much deeper, longer lasting fulfillment. That's why some of the happiest retirees I meet are not necessarily the wealthiest ones. They're often the people with strong relationships, good health, sense of purpose, financial stability, and they spend time doing the things that matter most to them. Meaningful experiences with people you care about, those stay with you. And that's why I encourage people to think deeply about what retirement will look like for them. What does an ideal Tuesday morning look like? Who are you with? What gives you purpose? Retirement changes more than your finances. It changes your identity too. Retirement is not just about leaving work. It's about building a life worth retiring into. And some people aren't just retiring from work. They're retiring from structure, the routine, achievement, social interactions, and sometimes even their sense of purpose. So what will your new purpose be? If you haven't thought about what you're retiring towards, even a large investment account may not feel fulfilling. At the end of the day, money is just a tool. And the purpose of financial planning is not simply to accumulate wealth, it's to create freedom. Because the real value of money is not what it buys, but what it allows. The happiest retirees I meet are people who have not obsessed about one scoreboard. They are usually people who have found balance between the two. The people who created memories while they were younger, but still prepared responsibly for their future. The people who enjoyed their working years without sacrificing their retirement years. And really, that's what good financial planning should do. Help you to live for today while planning for a better tomorrow. Because someday, your memories will matter more than your balance sheet. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like and subscribe and share it with somebody who might benefit from the conversation. And if you need help figuring out where you currently sit on that continuum between happiness scoreboard and a financial scoreboard, feel free to book a coffee call with us using the link below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.